What up bros, I'm Frank. This is a video review of the Air Warrior Sidewinder. This is a spring-powered blaster with a 30-round integrated drum thing, which is pretty crazy. Let's get into the review. Included is the blaster itself, quite a few darts, the drum cylinder system, as well as the attachment mech for the drum cylinder system. I think it's in there. Yeah. Now I'll go over the externals and function in a bit more detail, starting of course up with the front. This is an Air Warrior's blaster, not a Nerf blaster, so it doesn't have an in-strike attachment point up front. Top iron sight, sling mount if you have a really thin sling attachment point, but probably not ideal for that role. Underneath is the priming handle. This priming handle is pretty thin and kind of weak looking, but I think it's pretty comfortable. No real complaints, and I have large hands, so if it works for me, it works with like 99.5% of the population, because 0.5 of the population are just like massive giant ogre guys. I don't know. There is an internal lock preventing you from priming the blaster if you do not have the cylinder loaded. So as you can see, it's like wobbling around and not priming. It's not broken, it just has a lock because it's unloaded. Moving back, there are no in-strike tactical rails because, you know, it's not an in-strike Nerf gun, of course. These little holes don't have a function, but that's where the heat is supposed to disperse in like a machine gun. This is supposed to look like a machine gun. Kind of. So that's cool and worth noting. Over here they have a little access door. You can open that up to get your finger in there to clear any jams you might have. Up top is a cool little carry handle, you know, in case you want to carry it. That's typically what you use a carry handle for. Then getting to this massive cylinder drum thing. This thing holds 30 darts, which is pretty high capacity. I would not say it's low profile by any means. It's pretty big, but that's generally inherent with, you know, high capacity, because where those darts are gonna go, they need volume to fit up in there. This unit can be detached from the blaster by depressing each of these little orange things right here and here on both of these guys. This is the mounting system, so you can pull it off like that. You can reload this way, but I would not recommend it because, you know, that takes two hands and now your whole blaster is disabled. You can reload just as easily by shoving the darts in there and manually spinning it like that, just as fast, and you don't have to like take the thing off the blaster. Moving down to the grip, it's also super thin like this guy, which is weird because it's a really oversized blaster up top and then it just gets disproportionately tiny in the bottom here. But even though it's really small, I don't think it's uncomfortable, and it's funny enough, big enough for my hand. So it's just really like narrow and not actually just small. I don't even know how to articulate that, but hopefully you know what I mean, and it is comfortable enough for like massive hands. But the trigger is not even a trigger, which was a massive disappointment, and I honestly thought I had a broken blaster when I received it because the trigger is not even real. It's like fake. It's just glued in place and you can't pull it, you can't do anything. I don't even know why they put it there other than to trick you into thinking your blaster's broken. This is effectively a slam fire only blaster. There is no trigger pull. So, you know, I can fire up here if I wanted to, and I don't need the trigger. It doesn't do anything. So to fire this blaster, you load up the cylinder, pretty easy to front load, and then you just pump. Like that. Firing this blaster is a little weird, or a lot weird. Slam fire only blasters are typically inaccurate because, you know, triggers enhance accuracy, because all you're doing and all you're moving is your trigger finger. When you have to pump the blaster, you're flopping your barrel all over the place and you have no chance at all at hitting anything beyond 30 feet. That's just the nature of slam fire blasters. If slam fire is an option, because the target is 10 feet away, you can slam fire and then go back to using your trigger if you're engaging a little bit further. That's kind of ideal. So I'm not a huge fan of slam fire only blasters. And then I threw this up on the chrono and I got really weird results. It averaged about 57 feet per second, but the range there of max and min was crazy. This blaster is not consistent at all. And it's not like a bow power blaster where the user can like half prime it and then full prime it and mess up the velocity. It's just an inconsistent blaster. It doesn't have a trigger, but it should be consistent because it has a catch mechanism. But whatever, I was using new darts and that's just the results I have. Ran the test like I run all my other ones and the velocity was all over the place. So overall opinion on the Sidewinder, overall I don't like this blaster at all. I cannot recommend it for anybody for any reason at all. I know, it just got negative up in here, but the capacity is great. That's pretty much the only pro. The usability, the performance, it's all pretty much garbage other than the capacity, which having an awesome capacity is only helpful if you have a chance of putting darts near people, and then some of those darts find people and you get hits. The velocity range just being sporadic, the lack of, you know, trigger fire blaster, it's only slam fire, super inaccurate and kind of annoying to use. My personal opinion, I don't like it and I can't recommend it. If you like unorthodox blasters that perform really terribly, you know, this one might be for you. Super negative opinion here, but I'm trying to be honest. I buy stuff like this to warn you guys not to, pretty much. That's kind of my job. Well, that is my job. My opinion aside, hopefully I've presented the blaster and given you the firing test for you to make the purchase decision for yourself. If you're interested in purchasing one, I will put a buy link in the description box below. That concludes my review. I'm Frank. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay tactical.